Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. Just a few words as a follow-up to my last video. Remember, the gun issue is a wedge issue. It's exactly the same thing as abortion, right to life, all of these wedge issues that radicals on both sides are drawn to, and they're very divisive. They're designed to cause people to camp down and entrench themselves in their particular positions. Now, if you look at the executive orders that Obama put forward, you will see that the vast majority of them require the states to be involved in the gathering and dissemination of information regarding mental health and other things. There's also a call for investigation into the causes of gun violence. Now, the reason I point this out as being a wedge issue is because wedge issues are a way that people are drawn away from the real issues that are confronting us as a society. And that is that we are facing the economic destruction of everything in this country. And this will be at the benefit of the most wealthy, the elite class, the corporations, the banks, etc., that have, over the past 4 years of Obama and the previous, decades, been the recipient of the largesse of the growing economy of the United States. Now, everybody in this country is wedded to the idea of austerity, and for those people who don't understand what austerity is, that is simply this erroneous notion that one has to be so completely focused on one's debt and deficits and things of this nature because it has some, a mystical effect on markets and what have you. And of course, if you look at the examples presented of austerity factors in Europe, you will see that countries are falling like dominoes over there and that austerity does not work. But that's not going to prevent the people in Washington from enacting these austerity policies, because you have the Wall Street puppet Obama that is going to do it. He wants to do it. He said he wants to do it. He wants to attack all of the social safety net programs. He wants to go after the New Deal. And of course, the right, the so-called right, the Republicans, are eager to jump on that bandwagon. It's a matter of who wants to paste the other as the one that's going to destroy it. And it looks right now that Obama is trying to set the Republicans up to be the ones that will take the blame. But of course, this will all play itself out in due course. So what we need to focus on really is realizing that the economic destruction of this country is imminent, and that we have to stay focused on that rather than being drawn off into these wedge issues. So, in final saying about this whole gun thing, okay, because the states are required to engage in cooperation and sharing information with the federal government, do you honestly believe that some of these tin pot dictator little Hitlers in some of these states around the country are going to have anything to do with these proposals? I say no. And as far as the assault weapons ban and the high capacity ammunition magazines ban going through Congress, highly doubt it. In fact, it seems almost a complete no-go. Okay. Now, as far as researching the causes of gun violence, I think that brings us right back to economics. And this is the thing that people don't want to actually realize. And if you think about it logically, everything comes down to economics and class. Okay, and people don't want to talk about class in this country. They pretend like we're a classless society, but we're not. We're not. Who are the people that are engaging in gang violence? Are these members of the middle class? Are these members of the rich elite? No, these people are poor. They're engaging in activity that is called illegal, like drug trafficking and things of this nature. They're fighting over turf, which is the same thing that businesses do. This is all about economics. People are trying to make a living doing what they're doing. I'm not saying it's right, but when someone robs someone else, it's because they don't have something that that other person does have. If you address the underlying economic problems in this country and you realize that the great division between the elite upper stratosphere of the super rich and the utterly abysmal conditions of the super poor in this country and realize that there are people out there who contribute to the massive amount of gun violence that goes on in this country, and it's all about economics. And if you start to address the economic problems in this country by having an actual jobs program, by actually trying to put people back to work, by actually trying to put money in people's pockets so that they can pay their bills and they can live in their homes without losing them, you will solve the vast majority of these problems. And of course, if you would just do away with this stupid drug war, that would eliminate a vast majority of it right there. Now, as far as the CDC looking at causes of gun violence, there's been a lot of talk about prescription medications being involved in this. And of course, that is a major issue. But I guarantee you that none of their results are going to come out and say that drugs are causing people to go crazy because the pharmaceutical industry in this country is too powerful. And that's another thing that needs to be addressed. And that goes in line with the whole policy of what I talk about all the time. It's the corporate infiltration of government and former government infiltration into the corporate sector. The revolving door that needs to be slammed shut. So, what is the cause of gun violence in this country? Well, of course, it's a myriad of factors. Crazy people engaged in actions of mass slaughter. Okay? Yes. And sometimes these things are, no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to stop them. But all of this hue and cry about tyranny and despotism coming from the government, no. If you have a look at what is proposed and what could possibly be accomplished as a result of it, you'll realize right away that none of these things are going to lead anywhere. And the assault weapons ban is nothing. Yes, Obama used a sorry, sad, pathetic political ploy by surrounding themselves with children. Of course, that's what every politician does. They all do it. They try to make a big show of things. So you have kids up there, and he's signing to protect our children in the future. And all it is a political stunt. He doesn't give a shit about gun control any more than he gives a shit about anybody that's murdered by his drones all over the world that we can't even know about because it's a national security secret. Ha! So, if you want to address real problems in this country, address the coming austerity nightmare. That means more joblessness, more people thrown out of their homes, and guess what? More crime, more robbery, more rape, more murder, more gun violence. Because it's all about economics. It's all about class. Yes, I'm not saying it's not about pharmaceuticals, making people go crazy. Of course, that's a part of it too. But you're not going to see any of these studies reveal how dangerous pharmaceuticals are. But if you can focus on something that maybe you can push back at, maybe you can put pressure on media outlets to talk about the economic crisis and how economics plays into the entire realm of gun violence in this country, maybe you can turn this into something that will be a good thing for the benefit of everybody in this country. And for the uplifting of our society, for addressing economic grievances and redresses of those grievances, getting people back to work, getting money in people's pockets, maybe a New Deal program for putting everybody back to work in this country on infrastructure, but doing all of these things to try and give people meaning and purpose in their life by giving them the ability to pay their bills without having to rob from their neighbors. And you know what? And the final straw about guns, there are guns in this country. There are millions and millions of guns in this country. They're not going to go anywhere. No one's going to come and confiscate them off of you. You know why? Because all anybody ever does is prey on everybody else. They never go and rob billionaires' mansions because it's too risky to do it. They never go and try to rob corporate headquarters. They never target any of these people who are the elite. So they live in their little rarefied castles, oblivious from everyday reality. And all the guns floating around in society, all they ever do is result in killing of each other. Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's why the guns are not going to go away, because all we do is prey on each other. So that's just a little perspective. Thank you. Have a good day.